Hello, it's Subway Pontypridd. Can I take your order, please?
So I'm joined by boxing trainer Amanda Richie Garner. Rich, I believe you got someone you want to introduce us to?
Yeah, I've got Oliver Didcott with me today. Oliver, or Ollie, as he's affectionately known, is a great little boxer. Boxes out with Bonamine. He's trained predominantly by ENZO MACCARINELLI. There aren't going to be many trainers out there with as much experience as ENZO MACCARINELLI, the most successful boxer to come out of Swansea, and he's a fantastic trainer. He's got a wonderful gym at Bonamine, great attendance there, a lot of competitive sparring, a lot of very, very good boys, Welsh champions come out of that gym under the tutelage of Enzo, and rest in peace his father, who was an absolute legend of the game, Mario. Enzo was very much followed in his father's footsteps. I'm not sure that he thinks his career is quite over yet. He keeps on talking about one more fight, but I mean, I personally would like to see him settle in as a fantastic trainer to the amateurs and the pros. He's introduced me to Ollie. Ollie signed papers with me recently, and he's going to be making his pro debut hopefully once COVID restrictions get out of the way. I've seen Ollie fight on many occasions in the amateurs. I've kept a close eye on him because Enzo speaks very, very well of him, talks about what a fantastic talent he is, and I can assure you that he is. He moves very, very well. Great boxer, puncher style. So, you know, Oliver Didcott, hopefully making his professional debut soon.
Nice to meet you, Ollie. Just move the camera on you there. So, how many amateur fights did you have with Enzo and Bonamine ABC?
Enzo, I only had 4 with Enzo, but 4 wins, 4 fights. So the second I went to Enzo, that's when I sort of turned it all around. And here we are now.
So who did you box with prior to going to Enzo's gym?
I boxed in originally Trosser, and I'd be fighting at 91 kilos. I was a heavyweight back then, we had to believe. And the second I go with Enzo, he whipped me into shape, and I'm here as a middleweight now, ready to make my pro debut.
So what did Enzo change or tweak with you regarding your amateur style?
Work ethic, basic skills, mindset, everything. So I owe a lot to Enzo.
The version of yourself now, how would you describe yourself prior to joining Enzo?
Fat, lazy, enjoyed boxing, but would just show up when I felt like it. I just take a fight whenever I felt like I'm fit. And now I'm just a different animal now. I mean, if I fought myself 5 years ago now, I know I'd spark myself out 3-4 years ago. So, yeah.
Is it fair to say that the old version of you just like the fight basically?
I like the fight. I love boxing. I've always loved boxing, but I think I like to eat more. And I didn't like to train. But I'd say with Enzo, he just kicks all that out of you. He motivates you. He just gets you firing on, trying to say all different cylinders. And yeah, that's it.
So what was it that made you make the change? Because Enzo's got a reputation as a brutal trainer, and his own record speaks for itself.
What made me change is one day I had a fight. I had a call on the Monday saying, "Do you want to fight on the Friday?" I was 94 kilos, and I'm only 5'9". I was 94 kilos. Didn't have a clue who I was fighting. Show up to the show. I'm waiting in the ring. All of a sudden, a 6'7", half-caste boy walks in, ripped to shreds on the cover of like fitness magazines. He looked like, and basically, I nearly beat him in that fight, but that was a wake-up call because I lost that fight from just being fat and lazy, and I knew it was time for a change. So that's what I called Enzo.
So you must have been fighting some guys that are a hell of a lot taller than you and bigger than you naturally?
Yeah, they were all 6'5", 6'6". I mean, they're still taller than me now. I'm only a midget. But yeah, at least they're a little bit shorter these days.
What I will say is, although Ollie has only been with Enzo for 4 fights, obviously he's had a lot of fights before then, but he's got a great deal of experience in relation to the sparring opportunities he's had at Enzo's, and he spars regularly with Jake Anthony, and you know, he holds his own with Jake and looks very good, very competitive spars. When Ethan George came to me, and Ethan George is somebody else who's going to turn pro and hopefully make his debut very soon. Ethan came into it with a reputation as a banger, and perhaps his training wasn't as strict as Ollie's was. And you could definitely see the difference between the pair of them, and the preparation and the way that Enzo prepares his boys, because obviously when Ollie wanted to move it up a gear against Ethan, then he could. Ethan now is training a lot harder, and the spars are a lot more competitive. But you know, from the very start, it was very obvious that Ollie had been trained right, and he had the right skills. The way he moves his head, the way he slips punches, the way he catches punches. You know, he's got a very exciting style for the pros. I personally think that his style is a lot more suited to the pros. Not only that, but he's a student of the game as well. I mean, he'll tell you himself. You know, very old school and likes to watch boxing. I mean, immerses himself in boxing. I mean, you know, if you keep a lookout for his Twitter handle, you'll see that he retweets a lot of stuff, and you can see he's very much a student of the game. I mean, you know, I'm sure if you ask him now, I talk with Ollie a lot about his favourite fighters and stuff like that, and who he likes to, you know, build himself on, and who he likes to kind of emulate.
Who do I like to emulate? Well, old school fighters. I love Berta Duran, James Toney, the best, James Toney. Old school fighters, Jersey Joe Walcott. Yeah, or anything old school. The old skills, the rolling shoulders. I love all those fighters. They're my.
Do that, mate. I put you on the spot a bit. Me and Richie the other day, we did our top 10 heavyweights of all time list. And who do you say is the #1 heavyweight of all time?
All time. Based on achievement or just skill wise?
In your mind.
In my mind, I'd have to say, what's happening? Joe Lewis, Muhammad Ali. I love Mike Tyson because he's got the most exciting style ever. He's a top 10. I don't think he's the best. You said Mike Tyson, did you?
No. I went kind of left field.
Holyfield. I took Holyfield in it.
Holyfield was in my mix, but no, number one for me of all time was a guy called Teofilo Stevenson.
Yeah, he's an amateur.
Yeah,
Cuban. That don't count.
But he didn't say pros. He didn't say pros.
Right, okay, yeah, sorry, so of all time. Maybe Teofilo boys go fight there. He was really
I always chucked Felix Savon in there, but
I think most people would have just presumed you went the pros, but it's Richie we're talking about.
He wants to be awkward about it. We'll say Teofilo, yeah, that's what we'll do. Yeah. But yeah, that's why I say it's going to be someone like Holyfield, Lennox, Joe Lewis, Muhammad Ali. They're my top 4 or 5. And then throw Mike Tyson because Mike Tyson is just.
As a middleweight, who are you looking at as a middleweight then, Al?
James Toney all day long. James Toney. You know, obviously I love Joe Garzlagi being Welsh and that. But my favourite fight was people like James Toney, Roy Jones Jr. Don't tell Enzo that. He won't mind, will he? But
fought Roy Jones in his prime.
he did.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you, mate. James Toney, of course, brilliant middleweight, super middleweight. I think he skipped light heavyweight. No, he bought light heavyweight, cruiserweight. Won a cruiserweight, yeah. He won a WBA heavyweight title but got stripped. He was a short heavyweight. And I guess you were a short heavyweight. So did you try and box like James Toney?
Yeah, a lot. That's why I fought a heavyweight. I thought, if he can do it, I can do it. But I forget I'm not James Toney. I'm just some fat Welsh boy. You know what I mean? So, it's a little bit different. But so I try to mould myself on someone like that.
So do you try and use like the shoulder roll and those type of skills?
I have a go. I try it.
And what's it like training with Enzo Maccarinelli, a legend from these parts?
It's awesome, mate, isn't it? I mean, you can't go wrong. And he was a former world champion. Anything he says, you just take it on board and you apply it. It's as simple as that. It's great.
And do you ever spar with Enzo?
Yeah, once. I sparred with him once. I think we did 3 rounds. I remember the first round and a half, 2 rounds, I thought, fucking hell, I'm doing it right, yeah? I'm doing it right against Enzo Mac. But basically, he was just walking me down, teasing me, and then he just ripped the body shot, and we had to finish it.
What's your style going to be like now once you turn pro? And what weight division do you think you're going to be boxing at?
Middleweight. So boxer, puncher, someone like Canelo I love. So a fighter like Canelo. Boxer, puncher. I love Marquez. People like I'll try to emulate someone like him. Yeah, that's what middleweight.
And how fast do you think you'll be moved based on your previous amateur experience once you finally get a fight?
Richie, I don't know, however fast it is to me. We start off nice. I wouldn't mind starting off nice to get my feel of the pro game. And then soon as, in the next 4 or 5 years, I'd love to win a British title, anything like that, and then after that's a bonus. But my target one day, in the next 5 years, I want the British title. That's my plan. So, got a 5-year plan, and Richie's put it together.
And I should have asked you at the start, really. Did you win Welsh titles, British titles in the amateurs?
I never won a Welsh title because every time I went to enter, once I came in too heavy, just being a fat boy again, and the second time obviously COVID stopped it. But I did beat an Asian Games gold medalist, so I don't know if that makes me the Asian Games champion now, I don't know, but yeah, I suppose I'm the Asian champ now, that's what I'm going to say, I know I'm the Asian champ, so yeah.
And as a boxing historian or student or someone who loves boxing clearly, how do you think the Tyson Fury Joshua fight will go?
I'm back and forth on it. Some days you think Fury's just all wrong for Joshua, but then when you think other times, Joshua's a lot more technically sound than Wilder was, a lot stronger, a little bit faster, and I could see maybe Fury struggling with that, but then I flip both ways all the time, so I'm on the fence with that one. Yeah.
Good assessment. And then any fans watching this who want to follow your career, follow your progress, are you on social media?
I'm on social media, yeah, just, well, what's my name? at Didcott, I think. I'm on Twitter, you'll follow me. On Instagram, Oliver Didcott, follow me on there. I'll just be posting training videos, try and post some sparring videos just to get, so people can see what I can do, and we'll go from there then, hopefully.
Twitter is just Didcott.
Just Didcott.
Just Didcott. At Didcott.
At Didcott. So just follow me at Didcott. And then, yeah.
And have you any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
No, not yet, but I put him on the spot now. Ken Strelli, the gate in. Yeah, sponsorship soon, please.
So there we go, Ken, you got a shout out, so pass the money over.
£5 a month. That's all I want, £5 a month. Nothing.
Yeah, sounds fair to me. Okay, mate, it's been great to speak to you this morning, and hopefully you'll get a fight soon and we can see you in action.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate, lovely.
Hello, it's Subway Pontypridd. Can I take your order, please?